At this point in Catullus 8, he begins talking to himself and giving himself commands. So we have a slew of imperatives. This is our first one. So he says, you also don't want, or essentially don't be, and then impotens is the adjective here. Then we have two necks, so neither imperative. So this means follow. You're going to need to supply a her. I'm going to give you the Latin for her. There you go. Which will then serve as the antecedent to quae. So neither follow her quae fugit, nor imperative. And then this miser means miserable. It's an adjective, but I would translate it adverbially, so miserably. Then in this one, we've got another imperative, per fair. And then these two go together. This is going to be an ablative, so with. And then another final imperative. And we talked about some of the rhetorical devices here. We have an asyndeton at the very end, with the two imperatives not having a connector. We have a polysyndeton as well before those, with our neck, and then sed. So that'll get you started there. All right, and then actually wale is also an imperative. So wale is our word for goodbye, but it can also mean be well or something like that. So he then switches and he starts talking to the girl. So he was talking to himself up to this point, and then here he switches and he talks about himself in the third person. So kind of interesting. So now Catullus obdurat, and we have that same word used again. So you can consider that a polyptoton. And then Catullus remains your subject. And most of these verbs are going to be future tense. So this is future tense. So he will not requiret te. Te is going to refer back to the puella, the girl right there. Nor will he rogabit. Maybe supply a te, so you, and then inuitam, being unwilling. And this creates a chiasmus. And this is a pretty good chiasmus because the girl is framing the line here. So he's still kind of thinking about her. He's stuck there. All right. And then, but you, another future. So you will grieve, you will be sad when, and then this one, also future, also you as your subject, but it's passive. So you will be asked, and then this is going to mean not at all. So he's kind of being real mean here. Then he calls her wicked, sure. Why te, kind of just a woe to you. And then this quae is going to go with vita, and it means what? So what life, manet, and then our dative for. This is the only one that's not in the future in this whole slew. So we have future, 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 present, and then we have future down here. So who now will adibit te, and then to whom. So to whom, and then your subject is still you because of the ris. When you have video in the passive, it means seem. So to whom will you seem, Bella? Whom is a direct object, quem. And then your subject is still you. So whom will you, amabis, nunc. And then this cuius here is going to mean whose. Whose, another future and another passive. Remember that ris passive. Whose will you be said? Essay, an infinitive, too. And then last one, or almost last one, whom, basiabis, future, again, will you basiabis. And this cui we're going to translate as whose. This is technically a dative of possession. Whose la bella, that's another diminutive as well. Whose la bella morde bis. And this line kind of refers back to the bird from Catullus too. And then finally, after this slew of rhetorical questions that are pretty mean, he says, but you, Catullus, vocative, stubborn, because he's acting that way, and then he ends with the imperative.